different ways that you can heal your trapped emotions. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Yo, what's up guys? My name is Sumed. I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. And today here on a nice Tuesday, club going up on a Tuesday, I'm back. What I want to talk to you guys today about is reframing the narrative of healing and also creating a flow state lifestyle, okay? And how you can release trapped emotions and make that a part of your daily rituals. So what happens is we're like programmed from 0 to 7, right? We are in theta during those ages, so we were in hypnosis technically. We're just absorbing everything around us. This is why, ideas of home are linked to ideas of love, and maybe you might have had a trauma when you were younger or something like this, and that becomes stuck in a pattern, right, that shows up again and again in your life. And this is what we call a self-sabotage, right? When you see the same pattern coming up again and again and again, it's a reminder for you to heal it. This is your psyche guiding you to heal this thing that is within you. So what a lot of people do is they learn to repress their emotions. They weren't feeling through the times that they got bullied, or they went through a divorce or a breakup, or a moment where they left their job, or a moment where they felt depressed or sad, or they felt isolated, or many of those emotions we didn't give ourselves enough time to process. And those become the trapped emotions in the body, okay? There's a lot of work by Dr. Bessel on this. There's a lot of work for trauma release breathwork styles and different types of, bioenergetic trauma release therapy, and lots of, different ways you can go about this. But this is just the way that I've engineered this into my lifestyle and made it more a part of my recovery phase of the flow cycle and release phase, in a sense. So it kind of matches those two points in the pendulum, you could say, of flow state, right? The first thing you want to have is a breathwork practice. Any kind of breathwork practice. It depends on what you want to use the breathwork for, but generally, breathwork will alter your state of consciousness. Okay, we all know this. Breathwork has recently been equated to Jake Paul's wins, okay? Jake Paul was working with a breathwork facilitator to help him actually, get more present as he's fighting. There's a science to this, man, and there's a power in breathwork. If you've ever done any breathwork, you understand this is a way to release your trapped emotions, okay? There's biodynamic trauma release breathwork. There is styles of breathwork in yoga, styles of breathwork that are just used in like Navy SEAL training. You could do the fire breath or Kapalbhati. I love doing this breathwork. So what you do is essentially you pump your hand up every time you breathe out through your nose. So it'd be something like this, okay? So it'd be... Some people call this the ego eradicator. I don't want to give it any weird names. I just call it the fist pump, okay? Because I'm from Jersey Shore, clearly. Fist pumping! In any case, that's really powerful, okay? The next one that I want to introduce to you is shaking. Simply shaking, okay? Shaking your body. Shaking like a wet dog in the rain, right? Okay, the next one is jibbering. These all look like you're a crazy person, right? But don't give yourself that label. You're just extreme. You're just intense. You're just letting your emotions out. There's no shame in that. Don't shame yourself for being, emotional releasing. I see a lot of people doing this. They're like, oh, I wonder what my family will think that I'm screaming in the other hall. Listen, if you want to heal yourself, you got to prepare things, right? You got to speak to your family like, hey, this is a part of my training. This is a part of my therapy. This is a part of my protocol. This is part of my program. This is part of my lifestyle. Oh, they can't argue the lifestyle element, right? They can't argue your lifestyle. They can't argue your lifestyle. They can't argue your spirituality choices. They can't, okay? This is something for you. Your life philosophy, the way you live is through releasing the trapped emotions in your body, which means things like exercise, right? Getting your body moving, blood flow, any kind of exercise. Don't limit yourself to one. Go for a walk. I like to swing around this thing, right? A gutta. You can find your own thing, man. You know what I mean? You don't have to copy me. Like maybe that's not for you, but whatever it is for you, you gotta find that thing. That's for my ancestral healing. I actually want to say something about this, right? So when you're saying healing, it's implying that it's something to be healed. Some wound. That something needs to be engineered, or that it's weak, that it's not strong enough to heal itself. That is what is the implication of saying healing, right? What I propose is we start calling it self-actualization, because it's a very similar journey. I just want to say that. And just start to understand this, not based on, Maslow's hierarchy, not based on any of that. I'm just talking about like that flow state path, whatever you want to call that. You could call it, samadhi, enlightenment, whatever, right? You want to put labels on it, but it's not that. It's just feeling your best, just glowing, being and walking right alongside your golden shadow. This guy that I'm being and embodying today is different. He's my golden shadow. This is the guy, right? He's a little bit of that tough love. He's a little bit of that flow state prophet. I'm able to channel this energy to you today, okay? This transmission that's coming across from my spirit, from my higher self. So thank you for listening. Your trapped emotions in your body have been limiting you in so many ways, okay? So what you want to be doing is you want to be journaling, okay? Journaling slows down your thoughts. That's the reason why you do it. If you're an overthinker, journaling is the way to go about it. Or if you're more like me, like speak to a camera like this. Just straight up talk to the camera. You think these videos aren't healing for me? They are, okay? They are, because I'm getting things off my chest. I'm expressing myself. Here's the thing. I'm not putting all of me into it. That's another mindset of the Flow Jedi that you want to adopt if you want that flow state lifestyle. Now, for a flow state lifestyle, you got to be in flow state, okay? You can't just say, I have a flow state lifestyle, and then completely lead an irrational life where you're distracting yourself using flow state, right? A lot of people, they distract themselves by, it feels so good, I'll just distract myself from my mission, from my purpose, for what I know I'm here to do. Understand, right? Understand that there's something there with taking a responsibility for your lifestyle optimization from a holistic standpoint. That's what it's called. So what Jibbering does is actually, it lets go of all of the gunk, right? The storage space in your brain that's filled with datums. It just flushes that out by gibbering. So set your timer for 5 minutes and just add some hand signals in here like it's light language or some shit, right? Just okay? Now you need this as a Flow Jedi. You need this practice. You can't be like, I'm too embarrassed, okay? I'm too embarrassed about me. I don't have any time for myself. Goodness gracious me. Okay? Look, I'm not making fun of you, okay? This is my tough love. Gotta do this practice, man. This is not a should, it's a must. So let's just say that you don't want to feel sad, right? Guess how you get rid of your sadness? You release your sadness. You don't keep it stuck within you. Isn't that just logical, right? But we don't do this. We don't take time on a day and we're like, hey, listen, today I'm just going to be focusing on clearing a lot of my deep pent up fear. And you just work on leaning into your fear that day, right? Doing things, doing guided meditations related to that. Doing, incorporating different smells and aromas if you learn that way faster, right? Like really understanding yourself. This is what self-awareness is. You know yourself, you know what floats your boat, you know what you like, you know what you dislike, and you understand how to maintain that vibe, You have that state coherence, okay? It's not a clunkiness of like, I'm trying to do something. One of my friends the other year told me this. It's like you have a bouquet of your fears and a bouquet of your desires, right? And you have both, and you're walking around with both. So you have this desire, you want to go for it, you want to get your needs met, you want to do it, but you have the fear on the other side kind of pulling you back. Like, but what about these flowers too? And it starts intercepting into the conversation or whatever you're trying to do or whatever situation that you're in, right? And so this anxiety and this fear has got to be purged out of your system. You got to take action. You got to take a detox day where you just remove it, flush it out of your system. there's, you know, a lot of astrological evidence that full moons, you know, we have the strawberry moon or whatever coming in, like, sounds like an ice cream flavor, but it's all good. Also, you got to be really charitable, okay? You got to be very, very charitable. Today, you know, I gave a Swiggy person some cold water because, you know, it's really hot out in India, and I want to be a positive impact on this planet, man. I didn't do it to virtue signal or whatever, but a positive influence to Kolkata, not just to Kolkata, but just beyond, you know, to the planet. The next thing is you've cut yourself off from all nature, okay? Nature is so healing, man. Nature is just like the most healing thing that you can have. You are surrounded by nature without you even knowing it. Isn't that wood all around you made from nature? You know, metal. When you're in this vibration, man, of a flow state lifestyle, miraculous and spontaneous and serendipitous things start to happen to you. Synchronicity to the maximum. For me, now to have a conversation with a person, get them attracted to me, get them engaged, is a piece of cake now, right? It's like a cakewalk, while earlier in the past, I would just be like struggling. What do I say? What do I do? What's the right thing to do? A tendency to be shy. I worked on that. I had different release days where I was flushing out this nice guy, this people pleaser out of my system. And you got to do the same thing. You got to have a day that's just like, okay, this day, on the 18th of this month, on the 21st of this month, I'm going to do this. And I'm going to dedicate it to releasing anger. Do that. Spend the whole day, you know, working up through your anger, listening to guided meditations on your anger, like, you know, having subliminals, YouTube subliminals play around releasing anger. You just completely flush the anger that needed. You take your cushions out and you start pummeling them. Okay? You start doing all of these things because they're necessary. Because you don't want to keep it repressed. Because you don't want to keep it all within you. Think back to that memory that triggered you and go all out with that anger. Maybe you didn't release that anger towards that person. Now is the time to do it. Obviously, take precaution. Don't harm yourself. People, they get more harmed because they go back to those old memories and they start replaying those like a loop in your mind. Guess what? It's going to keep coming up until you sit with yourself on one day and you go, I'm going to get rid myself of this. How do you do that? Like I said, through shaking, through breath work, through singing, through listening to maybe a song that connects that nostalgia with that memory, okay? You see, like, let's say there were roses in that memory. You take roses and you reinterpret it, right? You find a new meaning for the rose that overrides the old meaning. We have to actually be reprogrammers. We have to be consciousness engineers, where we go into theta states and hypnosis. If you can get yourself a hypnotist, highly recommended. A really good one though, right? That knows how to do their craft, highly recommended. Or just listen to them on YouTube or learn self-hypnosis, right? There's so many ways to do this, but getting into trance-like states to alter your state of consciousness and then reprogramming the stuff, listening to subliminals, this is what has changed my life. This is what has given me this blueprint, this pathway, this Tao, this Dharma, whatever you want to call it. It is yours for the taking, but it requires for you to have certain flow state activities. You want to have flow blocks on your calendar. I know 3 p.m. I block that time on most days, right, for recording videos. There will be, of course, changes to my schedule some days. You know, like yesterday, I was being told by source or whatever guidance system that was inside of me at the time that you got to go and record this video. I was dead tired, okay? Like, you're tired and now I'm just like crashing, right? I'm like, do I really have to make a video right now? What? Right? I was like, I don't want to. I don't want. That crying, whiny little baby, you know, inside of you that's like, no, I don't want to do it. The inner child throwing a temper tantrum. That was me yesterday. I got up. I muscle tested for it. I was like, okay, no, I need to do this. Good. This is important for my evolution and healing. Took the camera out. First time, I stumbled. Second time, got it. Okay? And that is while other people are watching me. I'm getting really in my head, still trying to maintain my train of thought and what I'm saying, at the same time maintaining this, camera, and at the same time understanding that there is a background, right? And all of this stuff is happening, but I was just putting myself into the presence, and it happened through the tension that needed to be released in that moment where I thought, I can't do it right now. No, I disproved that belief by actually doing it. You see, so action becomes an antidote to anxiety. But a lot of people will prescribe you Xanax or something like this, right? Instead of actually telling you to take some action. Now, we need accountability. We need people to push us to live up to our potential, not live down to our old selves, right? So sometimes we're thinking of our trauma from our past eyes and not from the new pair of eyes that we have and all the experience that we have to now handle that trauma if it comes up again in our life, right? And so we have to actually reparent the younger us through our minds, through our visualizations, through crying it out, right? Cry it out. Let the sadness out, man. If you're having trouble crying, I know a lot of guys, they've been shamed for that, or they think it's weak or being a pussy or whatever. Man, you got to give yourself a day to just cry. And they don't have to be tears of sadness. They can be tears of joy, but you got to let that emotional gunk out. You got to breathe deeper, get yourself into a trance-like state, do some heavy exercise. That mode where you're like, I can't do another rep. I can't do another rep. That's you tapping into your trapped emotions. Trust me. Also, self-massage. Self-massage is key. Self-massage is essential. If you're not doing anything, just Qigong tapping. Qigong tapping. That's a part of your lifestyle now. If you're in the Flow Zone Academy, if you're on this channel, if you follow these videos, you're going to be Qigong tapping. Okay? Most of the day, there's a lot of tension in our bodies. We want to feel light. We want to feel expansive with our bodies, okay? We want to have a tantric experience with our bodies, not just stagnant experiences, okay? So here we go, Upward Spiral Gang. I hope you enjoyed today. Hope my energy is hitting you today differently. I've been really working on myself today, so have an amazing day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's go, Upward Spiral Gang, yeah.